Hey, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Boon of Wireless podcast. Coming to you, as always, high above the streets of northern New Jersey at ANJ Media. Yes, New Jersey, where while we have a high cost of living, traffic congestion, incredibly high taxes, extreme weather, hot, humid summers, and cold winters, plus hurricanes and nor'easters that can hit us hard, our infamous toll roads, and our dense population, in 2025, New Jersey led the Northeast in population growth with a 1.3 year-over-year increase, adding over 121,000 new residents since 2023. Maybe it's our homegrown corn and tomatoes, or maybe our Taylor ham. I don't know. Andrew, behind the glass, how are you?
I'm fine, John.
How long have you lived in New Jersey?
My whole life.
Really? Never lived anywhere else?
No.
Okay.
Sadly, no.
Sadly, no. Okay. Another proud New Jerseyan. Okay. So today my guest is me. Yes. Our listeners and viewers like my every now and then updates, and we have some really good guests coming up over the next 3 weeks. But today is my attempt at again being like 60 Minutes, Weekend Update, or possibly Maury Povich. Andrew, did you watch the Maury Povich show?
No, John.
Oh, you missed a lot of fun. The stage fights, who's the father, open the envelope. But well, we're not going to talk about that today. Okay, there's a lot to cover. So why don't we just get started? There's a lot going on in the wireless world, and we'd like to talk about some of those things. First, I've written many times in Best MVNO about the recent dominance of big cable in acquiring gross additions or new activations over the past 8 to 9 years. In an article called While MVNOs Were Sleeping, Cable Companies Added 8.5 million wireless subs, that I published in May of 2022. And we saw the impact of cable companies like Spectrum, Xfinity, and Altice gain 8.5 million subscribers in just 4 years. And now, only 3 years later, these cable giants plus Cox Cable have 18 million subscribers. 18 million. Let's break this down. In the fourth quarter of 2024, Charter Communications and Comcast and Altice collectively added 876 mobile lines for a total now of over 18 million lines among them. In Q1 2025, Charter added an additional 514,000 and Comcast added an additional 323,000. According to the financial analyst at MoffettNathanson, the companies accounted for about 15% of the overall wireless industry's gross customer additions, an all-time high for the fourth quarter. We don't see any slowdown on this incredible growth. In fact, the future is very bright for these companies, as it's estimated that they've only penetrated about 12 to 13% of their embedded cable base, leaving a lot of runway to add wireless subscribers every year for a very, very long time. And at this month's MVNO Nations live event that I talk about all the time, that'll be happening May 29th and 30th in Miami Beach, an entire panel is dedicated to key discussion points about cable and wireless, exploring how cable operators' entry into mobile is reshaping market dynamics, increasing competition, evolving customer expectations, understanding the key drivers of this, customer retention, revenue growth, and leveraging existing infrastructure. Looking at how bundling mobile services with broadband and cable can enhance customer offers and boost loyalty for those companies. They'll also be addressing changes in pricing, consumer acquisition, and maintaining service quality. This session will be moderated by my friend Alex Besson, who's CEO of the Besson Group, and the following heavyweights from the cable industry are scheduled to appear. First, Danny Bowman, Executive Vice President of Product at Charter Communications, which is Spectrum. David McNaughton, Chief Marketing Officer at Mediacom Communications. G.S. Strickland, Vice President of Wireless Engineering at Cox Wireless. And Joe Lombardi, Senior Vice President and General Manager of Mobile Business at Altice USA. And finally, Don Schkina, I hope I said that right, Chief Customer Experience Officer at Wide Open West, or WOW Cable. This is going to be a great session. And if you're there, yours truly will be moderating a keynote debate entitled How to Succeed in the MVNO market, exploring innovative business models. Some of the things we'll cover during this debate will include exploring disruptive strategies, groundbreaking approaches adopted by leading MVNOs to redefine industry standards, and challenges traditional business models face, analyzing how innovative MVNOs harness cutting-edge technologies such as AI, IoT, blockchain to drive customer engagement and enhance operational efficiency and creating sustainable competitive advantages. We'll also look at uncovering successful case studies of some MVNOs, forging strategic alliances with diverse stakeholders. Joining me for this debate will be a great cast: Daniel Upson, Director of Partnerships at Labara, my friend and fellow New Jerseyan Susan Sorensen, Senior Director of Business Development for Plintron USA, and Elizabeth Hunter, Chief Operating Officer for Consumer Cellular. That's all happening at MVNO Nation Live, May 29th to the 30th at the beautiful Lowe's Hotel in Miami Beach, Florida. If you haven't registered yet, please go to nvnonation.com/register. You see it on the screen right now. And we'll be broadcasting the Boon of Wireless podcast at this event, just like we did last year at their event in Valencia. Okay, let's move on to another area. We spoke about tariffs a few weeks ago and mentioned that Apple had rented 4 cargo planes to move iPhone product from China to India to avoid our administration's recently announced tariffs. Well, it seems that this is impacting a lot of companies, and Apple has not escaped the controversy. In an article by Kelsey Zeiser, senior editor at Light Reading, published May 5th of this year, Apple reported revenue of $95.4 billion, up 5% year over year for its financial second quarter. But CEO Tim Cook forecasts that U.S. tariffs could add about $900 million to the company's cost. Ouch! Mr. Cook also states that, unfortunately, these costs will be passed on to the consumer. Also, Verizon Chief Executive Officer Hans Vestberg said, quote, "The exciting times when people would upgrade their phones every year are now over, as customers are now keeping their smartphones for over 3 years versus 2.6 years back in 2023. This, combined with any price increases due to the tariffs, will greatly impact the sale of new handsets in all sales channels." Okay, finally, I was asked last week the question, what's the current status of the MVNO market in the United States? And I think that's a very timely question with MVNO Nation Live having their first ever U.S. event coming up in a couple of weeks. I, like many others, are very bullish on the MVNO space despite everything that's currently going on with our economy and in the world. Research shows that the MVNO business in the United States is experiencing steady growth, driven by increasing demand for affordable mobile services and the expansion of 5G networks. The market is expected to reach $20.84 billion by 2030, growing at a compounded annual growth rate of 7.04%. Our industry is highly fragmented still, with MVNO operators differentiating, there's that word again, themselves through pricing strategies, unique features, and targeted customer segments. While I can't share any details, please get ready and buckle up with some new entrants coming into the market over the next 45 to 60 days. Great stuff is on the horizon. Okay, that's going to wrap us up for another week. Please visit theboonofwireless.com and subscribe to our channels. And as I said earlier, stay tuned for a great slate of guests coming up starting next week. Andrew, any questions from you from behind the glass?
Well, John, I just wanted to say congratulations on still being the fastest growing podcast in wireless.
Well, thank you very much. Coming from you, Andrew, who has produced and edited many, many great hosts of podcasts, that means a lot. So thank you. Yes, I guess we are, and we'll take that. I would like to take this opportunity to wish all the mothers out there a very, very happy Mother's Day this weekend. Enjoy time with your families, and please, if you're traveling, travel safe. As we always say, until then, I'll see you next time. Do you want to be a guest on the Boon of Wireless podcast? Give us a call at 908-THE-BOON. Yes, 908-843-2666.